Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Zaria Off Script. I am your host, Zaria, and tonight we are keeping it off script. I just want to let you guys know that it's 2:45 in the morning, okay? I just came back from the club, and on the way, I was listening to a podcast on the way back home, and I just sparked the idea. I'm like, you know what? I have my makeup done. I'm relatively dressed. Like, I put on a sweater to be in the house, but like I had on like a nice little what is it called, like a sports jacket, race car jacket, something, one of them leather jackets. Okay, I was looking fly, and I'm like, my makeup's done, my hair's done, like let me just film. So that's why we're here at 2:45 in the morning, and I do have work in the morning. Okay. But I want tonight's episode to be about my spooky dating story that I have, in light of the holiday season, the spooky season that we are actually closing out on. I am a week late, and I do owe you guys an explanation. Um, and while this cannot be the explanation every time, it is, I think, it'll have to do for now. But my mental was not great. I was going through it bad. Last week was really bad, and some ideations popped up, and it was, I think I traveled back in time with that one because I haven't had suicidal ideations and thoughts in, well, I have in some time, but like not as bad as it was this time since, like, I think I was 22, and I'm 27 now. So it's been a while that it was ever that bad, and I had to really deal with it, and I had to deal with it alone because, my family's not really here around me, and I don't necessarily talk about that stuff with them anyway. My friends, like, that, I think that's also a contributing factor. Like, I'm revamping my friend group right now, and that's really rough on me because I feel the most alone I've ever. Ooh, I'm getting emotional, but I feel the most alone I've felt in a while. So it's been hard. It's been really hard trying to just like navigate a lot of different moving parts in this life. And yeah, like last week was just not a great week. So please forgive me for missing an episode, but we are back on schedule, and I do intend on, continuing on. I feel like missed episodes will not be indicative of what is to come with this podcast. It is a passion project for me, so I would really love to be able to continue this on and just keep it going. I just have to also kind of be a little kind to myself, knowing that you're gonna have some bumps in the road. You're gonna miss some weeks, and like, you're not gonna have a perfect schedule, but as long as you keep going, that's the step in the right direction. So that's what I'm telling myself, and I hope that you guys grant me the grace of that as well, please. So with that being said, like I said, I want today's or tonight's episode to be all things spooky regarding my dating life. And I have one particular story that I want to get into. Like, I'm not great at story times, I don't think, but let's try it because I don't think I've ever told a story time before. I'm going to tell you guys about the time that I was seeing someone, and uh somebody from like the past that I was seeing, and it wasn't even necessarily the past. I just, in that moment, we weren't talking. He popped up on me at my house while I had company. None of these people I talk to anymore. Okay, so we're gonna give them code names. God, please let me remember these code names. Okay, so this had to have been at least 2 or 3 years ago. Actually, around this time, it was around October, like the end of September going into October. And we're gonna name the gentleman that I worked with. Guys, don't ever date or mess with anybody that you work with. We're gonna name him Michael. And Michael and I had relations, like, I think at that point up until October or November. I think it might have been, actually, no, I'm lying. His birthday is like Aries season. So let's just say 6 months. Michael and I had relations up until that point for about 6 months. Mom, please, like, please, please, please don't watch this. We were a little active, I will say, but we were mostly just spending a lot of time together. Michael was a is, because I don't know anything about his life any longer. We have zero contact, but I'm almost 100% sure Michael is a certified pothead and an alcoholic down. Like, it was bad. I don't know, for whatever reason, like, I was in a really bad place in my life, and I just stuck around for that nonsense. And I don't know why. I can't tell you why. Maybe I can. It'll just be in another episode. But just know I stuck around for that. So that was really interesting. But, for the first time ever, right after my birthday, things got physically abusive between us. And it was a little crazy. So I have, guys, let's laugh. We're going to laugh before we cry, okay? But I can say that that kind of was like the end, the beginning of the end. It took a really long time for us to end it off, but it was the beginning of the end. Nonetheless, Michael and I, we kind of broke things off a little bit, or I was trying to break things off with him. He did not make it easy, and so I was on Hinge, and I started seeing somebody, and let's name this new person Wesley. And Wesley and I, we started seeing each other, pretty frequently. We went on I think a couple dates, but I went to his house a lot. And I actually would love to talk about my time spent with Wesley cuz that in itself was very interesting. But again, another episode for another day, guys. So Wesley and I were dating, we were talking for a little bit. I spent a lot of time with him and he came over to my house quite a few times. And at this time, this particular day, Wesley came over for, just a little hangout. We were watching Netflix and chilling, and we actually watched, like, I think a show or a movie or something, and we were talking about it. I got us food. And so, like, we were just having a good time. And so, as things happen, they kind of progress a little bit. And guys, oh my God, if my family is watching, please just click off this podcast episode. I don't know, or like fast forward 10 minutes or some shit. But things were happening. Now, I have a sleep timer on my phone. I go to bed at 9 p.m. every night. So that sleep timer comes on at 8 p.m. sharp. There's no miss anything about that sleep timer, okay? Unless I go and take it off every single night, even on the weekends. Well, I'm lying. At that time, I think it was on the weekends. At this time, it's not. 8 p.m. sharp. Nonetheless, that sleep timer was on, okay? So my D&D comes on and I have company and I am doing what big girls do, like I'm being grown and I'm having a good time. Okay. So, for whatever reason, doing my big one, I just decided, you know what, after, let me check my phone, like what's going on? I've been in La La Land. Let's see what's going on in the outside world. Let me tell you exactly what was going on in the outside world. So, not only was my sister not home, right? And I told my sister, hey, I have company. Let me know when you are coming so I know like when to, And so she wasn't happy about that, but she's like, okay, girl, like whatever. I'm kind of checking just to see if she followed up with me to let me know if she's on the way. And so I got a message from my homegirl while checking my phone slash coworker Pam. Love her down. She asked me if I was comfortable with her giving my number back to Michael because we had a falling out, like I said, and we weren't talking. So he deleted and blocked my number, and I did the same. And so for whatever reason, I can't even tell you how long it had been. It's probably been only a week. Again, very toxic time. Nonetheless, when she asked me, for whatever reason, I said, yeah, girl, go ahead. Like, it's perfectly fine. You can give him back my number. I don't care. So she did exactly that because I gave her the permission. And shout out to her for even asking me instead of just going straight for it, right? But she gives him the number and y'all, he immediately ringing my phone down. And I don't know what it was about this night. Maybe he just sensed it in his aura that I was seeing somebody else, but he just started ringing my phone down like something I've never seen before. And it was so crazy because like I said, we weren't talking and I'm pretty sure I still have the screenshots and everything because anyway, let me not fast forward. But I'm like, this is kind of crazy. Whatever. I have my company right now. And as far as he's concerned, I'm just checking my phone. I'm not tweaking about nothing, right? I think even at one point I put the phone down and we get to talking and touching ankles again. You know what I mean? So I go back to check my phone. I mean, notification galore, missed calls, missed texts, missed FaceTimes. This man called me in a 2 minute, 3 minute span. He called me 26 times. Okay. That's how bad it had got. So we're texting back and forth. He's asking me, where are you at? What are you doing? Why aren't you answering me? Gah, 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 gah. All this stuff. And I'm really not giving him the time of day for real because it's like, for one, I'm still beefing with you. I don't even know why I told her to give you my number, but like, you're talking to me crazy right now. I don't even know what you want. He wasn't trying to hear none of that, y'all. I mean, he wasn't trying to hear none of that. You know what that man said to me? And all right, bet. Anytime a man from the Northeast say, all right, bet, you actually should be scared. And so I was scared, okay? That man put my address in his Google Maps screenshot it and said, I'm gonna be there before the time it says I'm gonna get there. Huh? So I get to freaking out. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all. He's giving me real time updates as he's driving to me, letting me know, yeah, I'm 15 minutes and now I'm actually 8 minutes. I'm 6 minutes away if you don't answer. And I'm like, y'all, I have a man in my bed, a naked man in my bed. Okay, his car is parked outside in my drive. We call my driveway back home a parking lot because it's big as shit. He's parked in my driveway. A man in my bed. Nobody's home. I think actually I'm lying. I think my sister was home at this point, but my mom's not here. So like I'm scared shitless, y'all. And I start freaking out. I start crying. Mr. Wesley was in my bed like, "Are you cool?" And I'm like, "Bro, no." And I told him like what was going on because I had to be honest with him. Like, I don't know what's about to happen and I don't know what you're going to what like you walked into, and I don't know what I got myself into, but I have to prepare you for what's about to happen because I'm a little nervous. So I told him, I briefed him a little bit, and I feel bad. I did lie to him, and he asked me, he was like, did you sleep with him?" Like, and I said no because I was embarrassed about it, but I didn't. I now think, or no, I now understand that he asked me that because he's like, did the coochie do that to him? And while the coochie may have been a piece of that, it really was because the man is a certified pothead alcoholic. So he's just mentally unwell as is, on top of I gave him a crumb of coochie. So it's like it's a lot of different factors here. Y'all, would you believe that man pulled up to my place? That man pulled up to my house. And it was a very, very scary time. Now, at this point, like I said, my sister's home, but I'm trying to keep it very cool, calm, and collected because my sister don't play that nonsense. And we try to respect each other's space for the most part. I'm not trying to, I already have company here. We're two girls living in the home. Now I'm bringing men over. Let me slow down. Let me slow down. It's not no I'm bringing men over. I brought a man over that I was seeing and dating at the time because me and Wesley, we was like this for real. We weren't boyfriend girlfriend, but we was like this. Okay, so I'm just like, let me keep it cute with my sister and like not do too much. But I didn't know how to handle it because I know Michael. Michael is not right in the head. And I wouldn't be able to, like I said, we got physical already before. I wouldn't be able to fight Michael off on my own. And for shit show, didn't want Wesley to get involved physically. I didn't even want Wesley to see him. I didn't want Michael to see Wesley. I was like, boy. So I remember now, I lied to Michael and told him I'm not home. He's like, "You're lying. Your car is here." That's when I knew. And we have cameras at my house. I'm looking at the cameras. When he said that, I looked at the cameras. I saw him outside my house. I said, I'm fucked. I had to go with the next best thing. And you know what? Shout out Jamari, my little cousin, my little cousin slash big brother. Jamari, man, I FaceTimed him. I said, I need you to come to my house. Somebody is at my house and he's threatening me, and I'm very scared and I don't know what to do. He said, Bet, I'm on the way. I said, bring something with you just in case, because I know he keeps a knife in the car, which is true. Michael kept like a pocket knife, but it was like one of the longer ones, almost like a dagger. He kept it in his armrest. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen when my little cousin comes, but I don't need him to get hurt. So bring something with you. Man, my little cousin lived 45 minutes away from my home back in Jersey. That man got there in 20, and he bought his best friend, who was also my cousin. Well, I adopted him in as my cousin. Ian, shout out to Ian. They came and they had their own weapons. I won't say what, but they had their own version. And they're also very strong men. And I feel like at the time that this all went down is really funny because Jamari and Ian were in the gym heavy, so they were working out together just OD. The testosterone was flowing with them too. And then they're also just naturally like energetic, goofy, strong. So that on top of the working out and everything is just, it's just meathead on meathead, musclehead on musclehead. You understand what I'm saying? So like I said, 45-minute turn to 20-minute drive, flew, pulled up, handled business. And I still have the footage to this day. They rolled up, they, handled business. and they had to talk him off the ledge. But Michael was so fucked up because I forgot to mention, Michael came to my house drunk. Michael was high as fuck, of course, but he was also drunk, like almost incoherently drunk. Okay, he was trying to turn out my plates. He was like, he rolled up on my grass, like type shit, right? So Michael left. They got Michael off the premises, and it was really scary because I was nervous that Michael was going to come back. So they ended up staying with me for at least maybe an hour. It didn't end there. Because I was nervous about Michael coming back, my little cousin, or I guess my two cousins, Ian and Jamari, they stayed with me, and my mom saw them on the camera. So she calls me and she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Pause for the cause, because I left the part out. While this is happening, right? Wesley is upstairs. So they're getting him out. I'm upstairs. I didn't come downstairs at this time when they were getting him to leave. I was still upstairs with Wesley. Now, Wesley is, and most of the men that I've dated and that are attracted to me have always been tall, skinny, lanky men, right? I'm a tall, strapping young lady. They've been tall, skinny, lanky men. Wesley is exactly that. Tall, skinny, lanky. Okay. Michael, he's like medium height, skinny, but like muscle build a little bit. Okay. Now, it's not that I didn't want Michael and Wesley to fight. I just didn't want them to see or know of each other. Jamari is bow. That's Hulk. Okay. Ian, strong as shit. So I knew that they would be able to handle it. Wesley, I wasn't so confident that if it came down to it, he would be able to handle it. But you never know with these men. But he's also low-key a pretty boy too. So it was like, I ain't gonna do too much on him though, because you just never know. Nonetheless, I didn't want him to get involved. So Jamari and Ian were taking care of it. They got Michael out of here, okay? As they got Michael out of here, and I'm watching on the camera on my phone. I'm watching this happen, right? And we're actually like low-key watching together. I had just came down. I started, like I said, I started crying. I was freaking out. I came down off my emotions. I was cool again. We're like kind of laughing about it, but I'm like, this is not funny. I'm shaking. I think I was holding the phone shaking, y'all. Like I was like low key looking over my shoulder, like, oh my God, he like spawned into my room. Like I was so scared. So when they got Michael out of there and he drove off the thing, I'm like, let's go now. I'm so sorry, but you have to get out of here for your own safety and for mine, especially. We got Wesley out of there. He snuck, okay, this is so shameful. Wesley snuck out my side door to go to his car because his car was also closer to that side, but Ian and Jamari were in the front, right? So I didn't want them to run into him, but Jamari's little sneaky self, he's like, wait, who that? Because he saw Wesley pulling out. And I'm like, oh, like that's just my company. He said, Czar, you had a man here the whole time and he didn't do nothing. I'm like, well, it's just a little bit more complicated than that. Like, unfortunately, he's like, Czar, I don't want to hear none of that shit you're talking about, bro. You had a nigga here the whole time and he didn't do nothing. You know what? You're right. You're right. But also, I begged him and pleaded with him to not go downstairs because I didn't want there to be commotion, right? That boy pulling up unannounced on his own was enough commotion. I definitely didn't need a fight in front of my house. My mom is not here. At the time, my mom wasn't even in the state. She wasn't even in Jersey. I can't remember where she was at, but she for shit show wasn't in Jersey. Okay. So that was just enough. All that being said, so let's fast forward back to present time. So Wesley is gone, Michael is gone. But my mom sees Jamari at my house and she's like, who is that in the red shirt in front of the house? And I'm like, oh, that's just Jamari and Ian. She's like, what are they doing here at so and so in the morning? What's going on? I don't know why I came clean and told her. And you know what? I don't regret it. I don't regret it. But why did I come clean and tell her? Y'all, I told my mom, well, oh, I almost said the boy name. Michael. Sorry, y'all. I almost said the boy name. I'm like, well, Michael showed up and and she's like, what? Freaking out. Now, mind you, my mom don't know about the physicality of what happened between me and Michael in the past. And actually, she up until this day, I'm just now telling her this happened 2 years ago at this point or something like that. I'm just now telling her about it. So And she still don't know the nitty gritty. So at that point, she definitely didn't know about how bad it got between me and Michael. She just knew that I wasn't fucking with him, right? And so she's like, "What is going on? Why is he here?" Da 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 da. And I kind of like broke it down to her a little bit, but I'm like, "It's fine. Like I got it taken care of. Don't worry." She said, "Zaria, call the police. You need to call the police, and you need to file a complaint." And possibly a restraining order, because that is not funny and that's not safe. She knew that Michael was an alcoholic. She also knew he was a pothead a little bit, but I feel like the pothead stuff gets played down a lot, or the addiction to weed gets played down a lot, in comparison to alcoholism. So for her, the smoking wasn't necessarily the problem. It was the raging alcoholic that he was, because she also, like, I would give her insight on like his personal life, like with his family and like his dad and stuff. His dad is also a raging alcoholic, and so it kind of just like was one of those things that ran in the family. And so she knew how bad it was, and she was like, if he's pulling up here unannounced and drunk, he would do it again. Call the police, file a complaint, and possibly a restraining order. Are you kidding me? Like, and I'm not playing with you. When I get back home, I need to see paperwork filed. Yes, ma'am, you got it. Don't you worry about it. And so that's exactly what I did. I called the police and I'm like, hi, I need to file a complaint, da 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 da. And so in the area that my family lives in, the police actually do respond pretty quickly. And I think for the most part, I know how to code switch it up a little bit. So I think they probably thought that I was. And so they pulled up pretty fast and I filed that complaint. And his name was actually in the system already because, like I said, raging alcoholic, he has DUIs, multiple. I don't know if he ever had any case against someone else for abuse, for domestic violence and abuse. I don't know if he's ever had a case for, restraining order, somebody has against him or whatever. But I kind of felt bad a little bit because we worked together and I'm like, I don't want this to mess up his job, because the company we worked for did not play that. We worked at a luxury retailer, did not play that. If I would have filed that complaint and took it there to that level, that man would have been out of a job so fast, and I would have, ooh, y'all, I would have fucked him up so bad. And I wasn't trying to do that. So I didn't take it all the way to the top, but I did file the paperwork and I had a case number. And they said, if you want to call back and like, follow up, if you want to press charges, hey, come and do that. I think that's what my mom wanted me to do, was press charges. I just filed the paperwork. I never pursued it. And, that was pretty scary. Jamari and Ian stayed with me maybe 20 or 30 more minutes after the police left, just to make sure that Michael didn't come back. And he did not come back. It actually got kind of worse the next, not worse, not worse, not worse. It was still bad the next day, and I had to actually go and diffuse the situation myself. And I was, man, spooky times for real, because now that I'm thinking about it, the next day when I went back, he kept threatening to come back to my house. And I'm like, absolutely not. If you come back to my house, it's not even going to be just your head. It's going to be mine too. Because my mom is not playing that. So, I went to his house actually because he just kept saying, I want to talk, I want to talk, I want to talk. What is there to talk about? You just literally rolled up on me and threatened my fucking life. You rolled up to my house unannounced and threatened my life. You were threatening to slash my tires and fuck up my car and all these. Because remember, he thinks I'm not home. I'm home watching him on my cameras. And he thinks that I'm lying, but I told him I'm not home, because I'm like, bro, I'm not home. I went out. My friends picked me up. Da da da. Like, it doesn't even fucking matter. I'm not here. You need to leave. You need to leave. So as far as he's concerned, I'm not here. He's like, you need to pull up back here and we need to talk, or I'm gonna slash your tires. That's when I called my cousins, because I'm like, you got me fucked up, because I believed him. He was walking outside. I was looking at the camera footage. He was walking in front of my car. He sent me video recording of him in front of my car about to start fucking my shit up. I called my cousins and I had to get it handled. And so the next day when I went, because he's like, I want to talk, I want to talk, I went to his place because I did not want him to come back to mine. And he literally kidnapped me and held me hostage for like 2 hours. And I think that also got physical between us too. Like, y'all, it was bad. Maybe I'll actually maybe I'll make this like a little series, or I'll have like little episodes, not series, but like little episodes where I talk about that, because I could laugh about it now and maybe I'm laughing the pain away, because I also think I downplay the severity of the situation. It's not funny, but I have to laugh about it, like I said. But it's so bizarre because I think also pushed so much of that stuff to the back of my head. That man kidnapped me and held me hostage in his house many a time. And every single time was just outrageous. So yeah, we could talk about it in other episodes. But that's kind of just a follow-up of how the day after went, after he pulled up to my house unannounced and threatened to like fuck up my car, and also just was terrorizing me because I was nowhere to be found, even though I was inside with another man. Like I was literally seeing somebody else at the time. My follow up with Wesley, we didn't stop talking after that. He actually liked me a lot more because he was like, "Yeah, like you like that for real. I like that about you." Just so you know that Wesley does not talk to me any longer for things unrelated, situations unrelated. I have tried to reach out to him before, and it didn't necessarily go anywhere. And I'm a little bit hurt about that. I'm not gonna lie, but it's perfectly fine. It is perfectly okay. But that's kind of just the end of that spooky, scary ass story. Okay. Imagine a brisk October evening, and one crazy man pulls up while you're trying to have, a nice evening in with a new man, and it ends the way that it ends with police being called. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of scary if you ask me. That's very, very akin to, Halloween season if you ask me. So I hope you enjoyed this spooky story. All right, guys. So on to our next segment, which is our Reddit story. And today's story I pulled from r/dating advice, and the title reads, "First date went from good to bad." And I actually read this one. I had to laugh. I'm not gonna lie. I, 36 male, went on a date with a 36 female. We talked for 4 days, went out on a date and had a good time and good conversation. First kissed and all. Continued texting after, and we both felt the same way and wanted to see each other again. Had a phone conversation, and she asked me what my type was. And me being honest, basically said it wasn't her, but I had a good time and that she was very beautiful, and I want to continue this. I know what I did and made a bad choice, but now she's ghosted me, and I really enjoyed what we had going on and would just like to talk to her about it and see if we can move past my stupidity. What's the best advice? Do I keep trying to reach out? Why the fuck would you say that? That is spooky as shit. That is spooky as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I know what I look like and I know what I'm bringing to the table. It's body, like bow, 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 okay? I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. Everybody's not my cup of tea, okay? I have a very type. I don't have a type, but I have a type, okay? Like I have a type. And so if I do find myself talking to someone, I have found myself talking to men that didn't fall within within the type. I would never come out my mouth to them and be like, yeah, like normally I wouldn't date people like you, but you're cool. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Why would you say that to someone? I think that men lack a lot of social awareness, and I'm not gonna lie. They lack social awareness and empathy. That has been so crazy to me realizing this, because I don't know what it is about men and just the lack of empathy that does that, it just fails to exist within them. But it's almost as if you kind of take remove the humanity in speaking to a counterpart, to a female counterpart. You can relay a message without being callous. They call it blunt. No, you're being disrespectful, you're being hurtful. You can relay the message, and it doesn't have to be nasty. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, in a situation like this, sorry, not everything needs to be discussed, not everything needs to be said. Let's take it back to like growing up. Your parents are raising you and they tell you, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. This girl asked you, what is your type? Why would you tell her what's not your type? Not you. You're not my type, but you're cool actually, and I'm having a good time. What the fuck? Are you crazy? Uh, okay, let's start from square one. What's your type? Oh, actually, my type, I really like someone who's really funny and just has a really great sense of humor, someone who's pretty smart and witty, Da, 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 da. You went straight for not you, not you. I don't even know how you got here, but hey, let's continue this. I'm having a good time. Are you mad? And so honestly, her ghosting you was the best thing she could have did, because what she really should have did was told you about your mother. She should have told you how your mother wasn't your dad's type and how he just got stuck with that bitch and now you're here. That's what she should have did. And she handled it way better than I ever would have. I asked you what your type, you tell me, not me. Okay. All right. No. And yeah, okay, yeah, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, we are in an epidemic of stupid dumb men. The dating pool got piss and shit in it. Okay, it is biohazardous. And advice: leave that lady alone. Leave that lady alone. I don't ever pass the idea of somebody. Okay, guys, so my phone told me that I was talking entirely too much and I was dragging my point on. So, as I am running out of storage, I would love to end off this episode. And I just want to wish you all a very happy Halloween, even though we are past Halloween. I hope that you guys all enjoyed and got into the spooky spirits. If anybody feels generous and wants to leave comments of their own spooky dating stories, that would be great. I love a good key. And any other topics that you would like to hear from me, any stories you would like me to tell, drop them in the comments. I'm more than happy to get into it. I hope to catch you at our next episode. Thank you guys so much for being here. As we are wrapping up, I do want to thank you all for being patient with me and continuing to support me along the way. Sending lots of love and lots of gratitude to you guys. And I hope that you guys continue to, stick along with me and enjoy the ride. I'll catch you at the next one. Bye.